Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm honored to be joined by an amazing project team that's working on this incredible project. For those of you who have been involved, you know that this has been years and years in the making, and it is absolutely critical for the district and for the city. And there is a tremendous amount of time and resources going into it, and part of the reason it's taken so long even to get here, including the initial effort that didn't work out, and the regrouping and to get here, is just because it's a challenging situation. There's a lot that needs to happen for us to be able to build a school of this size and importance to the community in the City of Lynn, and that those challenges continue, but because it is so important to our district, we are and have been absolutely committed to overcoming them, and that's why we are putting in the time and effort and resources to doing that. I think this is a great opportunity to share an update on those efforts, and I want to thank everyone that's been involved, and all of the folks who are tuning in and listening to this for your interest and investment in the project, because it is so important. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we'd like to start things off by introducing everyone on the panel, so everyone knows Mayor Nicholson, and then Dr. Alvarez.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Dr. Alvarez, and I'm the superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Molly Cohen, and I am the deputy superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. Deb Ruggiero, recently retired deputy superintendent, and here to support the project.
And I'm Gene Raymond, one of the architects on the project.
I'm Craig DiCarlo with Left Field.
Lynn Stapleton with Left Field. We are the owner's project manager.
Good evening, my name is Brandon Mosley. I'm the project manager with Consigli Construction.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Pierre Joas. I'm the project superintendent for Consigli.
All right, thank you. So real quick, we've got the agenda. Deb, if you go to the next slide, please. All right, so we've had our welcome, we've done our introductions. We're going to give you a quick project overview to get everybody oriented to where we are in the process. Then we've got some construction updates, and then we'll open things up to questions and answers. So to kick things off, I'll have Gene bring us through the design.
Great. Thanks, Greg. So as the mayor alluded, it's been a long road. A lot of work's gone into this, and we thought we would refresh people. Some people may have seen these slides in the past, but what are we trying to accomplish? So we're building the new Pickering Middle School for 1,100 students in grades 6 through 8. It's going to front on Magnolia Avenue. It will be set back because it's kind of set parallel to this school, the Sisson and existing Pickering. It'll be 5 stories, and what you're looking at on the screen right now is the first floor, which has spaces that would be of interest to the community. So they include the main entrance, of course, and various offices, but there's a large gymnasium, a large double-height cafetorium, and there's a wall between those 2 spaces that actually would fold open, so the community will have access to a very large multi-purpose space for various events. The gymnasium will function also as the school's auditorium. So on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see we have some bleachers on the left. We have some seating on the floor, and then we have a platform. So that's where large community events and presentations will take place. And then above that in yellow is a space for the drama program, which is known as a black box. So it's really kind of a workshop for the drama arts program, but it is on the first floor and it will be accessible after hours for small drama presentations. When you get up onto the second floor, that's where we start to have some of the classroom areas and some more support offices. There's also a wood shop and a computer lab. And then, so that's on the left side of your screen. And then on the right side is the third floor plan. And you're gonna see on the next slide that the third, fourth, and fifth floors, they all kind of are similar to each other in that, but each floor is going to be housing one of the grade levels. So in this case, the third floor houses 2 clusters of 6th grade students. It also has the media center and some movement studios. Up on the 4th and 5th floor, they'll house the 7th and 8th grade, and there'll be some other special subjects that are part of that as well. And where this school is vertical, we'll say, it's 5 stories. We're putting all the classrooms around the perimeter of the building, all the learning spaces really, so that they have natural light through windows. But you'll see a couple circles here in blue and the initials ELS, and those are extended learning spaces. So we're trying to take advantage of space inside the building also as learning space. And you can see here, this is one of those extended learning spaces, and it would be used by 2 of the clusters in the grade level for group activities or pull-out support for various needs. So that's a little bit about the building. The site, the new school is shown on this, and it's in the black and white, kind of on the right side of the screen there. You can see that it's the back side of it, I guess, is in line with the back side or the front of the Sisson Elementary School wing. And that's where, Brandon's going to show you a lot of the construction work that's been going on. And then the green space and the parking is down on Magnolia Ave. And there are some spaces out behind Sisson in purple where we're creating a new playground for the Sisson Elementary School because the new Pickering is being built on what was the outside play area for Sisson. And then finally, in the lower right, there is a new community playground that'll be right on Magnolia Ave, and that'll take the place of the playground that was there before we started this project. As far as the neighborhood and the neighborhood impact, along the top of the page and the right-hand page, that's where the building is going to be closest to abutting neighbors. And all these various circles that are different colors are different kinds of evergreens that'll be a permanent hedge between the school, the driveways, and the backyard of the abutting properties. So, like I say, none of this is deciduous where the leaves will drop. These will all be green all year long. And we're mixing up the species, so it's not just a kind of, same thing everywhere. But they all are going to grow about 30 feet tall, so that's equivalent to about 2 stories. And if you were a bird up in the air kind of looking, Magnolia Ave would be on your left, Canomo on your right. We're trying to give some indication of what these evergreens will do when they're up against the new building. So with that, at the end of the presentation, obviously, we're available for any questions.
Thank you, Gene. All right, so next we've got Brandon and Pierre. We'll give you a quick orientation on the project. Oh, perfect, good idea. Yep. And then they'll go through some of the images of what's going on site now.
Yeah, we got it. All right. So currently, we are about 65% complete with our ground improvements, which we know was a very big task for this project. So being 65% has allowed us to actually start foundations. So as of today, we had our first concrete pour. So our first foundation pour was done today, which is again a huge milestone for the project. So that is what we're going to see for the next 6 to 8 weeks, is a rotation of foundations being installed and then the ground improvements completing. So once that 8-week mark's over, we're looking to start steel somewhere around the Thanksgiving timeline. And that is a major milestone, as we all know, once you start seeing the steel goes up, because the building, to people who don't see the earthwork that we just did, right? For example, we put in 1,000 earthquake drains and we put in 800 rigid inclusions for ground improvements. But those are things that are buried in the earth and no one will ever see. But to us, we know that it's a big part to get to where we're at. So that's a big milestone.
Let me know.
To the next slide, please.
All right, so this is taking the next step in our logistics plan. Pierre went through what you see now, kind of what you've seen over the past few months. This is the next step. So getting into the winter this year, you are going to see a very large crane on site that we need to erect the 5-story building. So a lot of thought's gone into that. Sequencing, how to get it up in the most intelligent way and most efficient way possible. We're going to continue with all our access into the job site off of Magnolia, keeping our traffic off of Konomo throughout the day. We have our blackout times in the morning and afternoon to align with the school to try and alleviate what we can for the neighbors and the abutting traffic during those most crucial times of the day.
Go to the next slide, then, please.
So this is a very similar layout. It starts to show that building keep going up. This is going to be our facade next spring. You start to see metal framing go up. You start to see sheathing go up. We start looking towards windows and curtain wall and the roof and really closing this building in as we get towards the end of next year. This is transitioning again through that. You start to see some of that work on the outside going up. We're going to stay in the same footprint we have now, essentially for that duration of the project as we continue to work on the building. And coming in towards 2027 is where we start to finish the interior, work our way out of the building. We're going to be doing some hardscapes. What we weren't able to get done now, because as Pierre mentioned, we put a big focus on doing what we could, what we weren't able to proceed with foundation. So a lot of work, utility-wise, infiltration tanks, drainage, is all supposed to happen next year. We're able to get it done already, which is great for logistics, but it meant we weren't sitting there idle. We took advantage of the time we did have. And this is complete. We'll talk overall schedule milestones a little later in the presentation, but we are tracking towards a late November, early December completion of 2027 as of right now. Want to take us through progress? Yep.
So in August, I'm sure the people who live close by might have heard a tink tink and a bing bing a couple times, maybe 8 hours a day. Yes, I know. But it was a crucial part to get to where we are today. This picture shows that these were the sheet piles that were installed. So if you look at the next slide, keep going. This was us last November. After the sheets were installed, we cut the site down. You go to the next slide, please. Right? We'll be seeing this white stuff soon, unless somebody has a magic radar to say no. All right, this was us in March, and this is when kind of like, we were into the redesign of the ground improvements, right? And this is what Brendan was saying. We didn't just sit idle. We took advantage of stuff that was going to happen like this summer, even next summer, and we got it complete all during that time frame. So it's a big milestone, especially for us in the field, right, to have live water. Hydrants are going to be live, all your sewers live, all your drainage is live. So as we go up with the building, water mitigation is going to be a lot better because everything's tied into drainage. So it's a big benefit for us. And this is when you start seeing the ground improvements exactly. And this is the drill rig that installed the earthquake drains and the drill rig that also installed the rigid inclusions. And then on this side, you will see the rig that is currently doing what we call a jet grout operation. And that is another stabilization of ground improvements. So that's what we're currently working on, and that's tracking to be complete end of October, right into early November. So this is the key work that we did. This is the rigid inclusion. So these are concrete columns essentially buried in the ground. They vary from depth from 20, 25 to 35 feet in the ground. This is really for your settlement control. This is tiebacks. This was installed along this elevation of Sisson, and this is a key element to stabilize everything that happened. So this installation went very smooth. All the consultants are happy. Everybody is very happy with that work as it went exactly as planned. This was us racing to complete. Again, this was like all stuff that we weren't going to do now, but we take advantage of it now. So infiltration systems underneath the future playground is complete. So when we do come back to next summer, we're talking about just putting final pavement down, right? We're not doing anything underground. I'm not having to tie in anything where disruptance is done to a point at this side of the building. And the team worked hard this summer to make sure that switchback ramp was installed and done, the fence installed, the temp rails installed. So that is, again, a big milestone for the project. Brendan and I are definitely happy with the team's progress with that to get that turned over for the school session season. And this is exactly where I was saying we had started the excavation. So right here is us excavating for our footings. And next after that, you'll see what is a blob of concrete, and then soon you're going to see some walls. So this thing is looking realer and realer every day. And that's us basically currently right now. So rigid inclusions complete for now. The earthquake drains complete for now. And all we're doing is focusing on our foundations at this point and a little bit of jet grout. So, like I said, we'll complete the ground improvements in November. We'll complete foundations in that November time frame, and then, Thanksgiving time frame, structural steel starts, and then, the race is going to be to get the building enclosed by next summer time, so that we're really inside focusing on building this classrooms. That's what we got for you. Thank you.
So there's a slide that's missing from the deck, but maybe Brandon or Pierre, maybe you can speak to it.
Yeah, so the one piece missing was our most recent milestone schedule. So it just goes through what are our key dates, what are our key activities to get to that completion date in December of 2027. We hit on a lot of the major ones for us. It's getting that concrete foundation done, starting your steel, and then getting your building weather tight next spring. And then it really transitions through all of our MEP work inside, through our main mechanical rooms, all get us to that move-in date and C of O in sometime in November or December of 27.
Thank you. And also something the team has talked about is once the foundations and steel are done, we'll take another hard look at the schedule, see if there's any opportunities to accelerate that, to push it back. But we'll know more in the spring. So the slide up there is the time for questions. So if you have any questions, we've got a microphone here because we're recording. And so if you wouldn't mind coming up and speaking into that mic, we'll do our best to answer your questions right now. If we can't answer them, then we'll put some answers on our website, which we'll talk about in a moment. So that the frequently asked questions, we'll add that.
Just concerned with 30-foot tall shrubs behind my fence. How far will they be from the property lines, the shrubs?
Oh, they're actually trees. if that makes a difference to you, but they'll be pretty close, you know, they get about 10 to 15 feet in diameter. So the side that faces the property lines would be pretty close to the property line just because the site is so small.
Right, that's what I'm saying, that's pretty tall for a shrub, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
Pretty
well, they're evergreen trees, so they're red cedars and they're other varieties. So our thought was to try to get something that would, I guess, break down the scale or break up what you're looking at when you're looking at the building, because the building will probably be about 60 feet.
My view has changed forever, I understand that.
Okay, but I guess if there were places that you.
I just wanted to add that basically instead of looking at a side of a building, you're going to be looking at greenery. And the density of these evergreen shrubs are meant to knock down noise as well as visual. So you're essentially would be looking out onto greenery as opposed to the side of a metal building, brick and metal.
First of all, I want to thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for what you've been doing. A couple of questions. One simple one. Is there going to be driving access from the Magnolia parking lot behind Sisson so that you can get out, so that you can drive into the Magnolia entry on Magnolia Ave and continue all the way out
To Broadway?
the Wyoma Little League field?
Yes.
But I saw it tonight, and I was wondering if that was going to be the primary route. But it looks like the primary route for the new middle school is to come in, drop off, take a left U-turn, and go back onto Magnolia.
So that's an emergency way that you're talking.
That's good, because I was worried about, I thought that the one shot was all the way through, and that would send a lot of traffic to Broadway. So it's going to send traffic to Magnolia, which is good.
Yeah, it definitely comes off Magnolia, it goes back to Magnolia. There are some gates that'll protect the playground, but if emergency services need to get behind,
Yeah, that makes sense.
they can open those gates and go through.
So that's good news. One thing I really want to ask tonight, and I'm going to look towards the project folks, and I don't know if it's part of the architect or the engineering for the ground issue. There's a lot of residents in Lynn are afraid of this project because of what happened to one of our high schools, which you probably heard of. So what I want to do is I want to learn tonight by asking this question so I can calm the people's fears and educate them to the truth. And what I'd like to know is, in simple terms, the original design for the foundation base, how did Sisson interact with that and why? And then what is the alternative, the new design of the foundation base? You mentioned the rigid supports and also an earthquake thing. So maybe those are two of the methods, the redesign methods that will work. No sinking. So I want to hear it from you guys. What really happened with the Sisson reaction to the Sisson building? And then why? And then what are the redesigns going to do to ensure that this great building is going to stay put? So
Certainly.
I'm going to sit down because I just want to listen.
Okay. Thank you for your question. So during the install of the original design was a rand aggregate pier, essentially a stone column that gets installed using vibration. And they were all calculated to control the settlement of the building, knowing what a touchy subject is with some past history in the city, right? And how critical settlement is for the project. So that was the original plan. We began to install, I think everyone knows we had some issues with the existing building, and the sheets on our project that we used to basically build our excavation. What we found out was that There are very specific soil qualities that make the soil susceptible to liquefaction. Basically, the interaction of the groundwater with the vibratory installation method created this scenario almost like a quicksand at a very thin layer deep underground. That impacted the sheets, which then had the impact we saw in the building. So the new method, we had to fix both settlement and liquefaction. So the earthquake drains provide relief for groundwater in a seismic event, which deals with the liquefaction. And then the rigid inclusions were a non-vibratory install method to resolve settlement in lieu of the ramps.
Just a quick question. You mentioned earthquake drains. Is that the term?
Yes.
And could you describe what an earthquake drain is and what it does?
Yeah, so those are 4-inch diameter perforated pipes that then have a silk sock on them. They are installed in a 6-foot grid underneath the entire area of the building to provide, down to 40 feet deep, to provide relief in the case of a seismic event. So basically give someone for that water to go. Or vibratory.
Any
Yes.
vibratory event.
So it's almost like a stormwater drain system, but you're not going to drain stormwater, you're going to drain that liquefaction layer.
Exactly. So essentially there's some sort of soil confined by a unique sand layer within the area of the project. We provided relief by poking 1,000 holes through that layer. And then if there is ever some sort of vibratory or seismic event, it now has a place for that water to go up underneath the foundation of the building and then settle down. So it basically just gives relief to that scenario.
Okay. Interesting. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you. Great building, by the way. I can't wait.
We don't believe we have any questions on that.
Okay, great. Renee, Danielle, and Laura, you guys are project insiders, but if you, in your minds, if there are any questions you think the public or the school or the city residents might want to know, throw them at us and we'll get it on the recording and maybe it'll help answer someone's question who's not here tonight. Not to put you on the spot, but.
There was one that just posted on from a participant on Zoom, and the question said, as a follow-up, it seemed that there needed to be a correction. Is there an update about the existing cistern structure and whether it was damaged?
Okay, so the question is about the existing cistern structure, whether it was damaged by construction activities, and the answer is no, the structure was not damaged.
Thank you.
There were some cosmetic damages, cracks that occurred, but we have been closely monitoring the school throughout all of the construction activities from that point on. And there will be some cosmetic corrections made to the school when we're done. But we have been paying close attention to make sure that there is no movement on the school.
Oh, that's good.
There is another one. I have another question about the cistern recess area. Can you folks hear me okay?
Yeah.
About the cistern recess area. It seems that dirt from the construction site has been making its way to the temporary recess area. Are there any plans to improve the recess area during construction? When is the cistern recess area scheduled to be completed?
The actual like playground won't be complete till we're done with the project. So it's always going to be phased in how we see it. I will assess the water tomorrow and make sure we are staying on top of it. We do have wattles, so basically a silk protection around the base of our fence and Jersey barriers to make sure, but I will double check that to ensure that, because we didn't have any issues last year and we shouldn't have any issues this.
I think I just want to tag on to that. I think what lately has been happening is sand was on it and it's causing students to slip.
Slip, yes.
I think we asked for.
Correct, and
blew
we
it
get,
off.
yep.
So I think just monitoring that. would be
Exactly.
great.
Nope, not a problem, not a problem. not a problem. We can do it every, like, you know, we did it on the morning early, right? Early morning street sweeper and clean it up, so not a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, so, Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank everybody on the project team. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for the great questions. Thank you to all the neighbors for your patience. I want to thank the school building committee who's doing great work. I would, for folks that do have other questions or are interested, the school building committee website has a lot of information. All the prior meetings are recorded and posted. It's almost so much information that if you really had a question, you also might want to just reach out to us and Danielle from my office and Millie in my office or any one of these folks. I'm sure would be happy to answer those questions. We are trying to be as transparent as we can and to welcome those questions. And again, thank everyone for their collaboration.
Thank you all. Deb, can you pull up the, we'll just show the website address.
Can I ask one more question? Nope. Please, just one. Did you go down to bedrock up on the hill? I know bedrock was very deep in the park, and we didn't go there. But did we go down to bedrock up on the hill? And if not, what kind of foundation is going to guarantee no movement not going down to bedrock?
So we did not go down to bedrock again. The depth of bedrock on that side of the site is cost prohibitive when you really do a comparison of various foundation design schemes. So the rigid inclusions are what's going to mitigate that settlement that we're worried about. So it's essentially a concrete column that's 18 inches in diameter, and the depth is calculated so that the friction on the outside of the pile provides that strength that we need on top of what's already there with the surrounding soils to mitigate that issue. So throughout this process, so many experts were brought in, multiple opinions. It's part of the reason we pivoted from the initial plan was we thought, let's get something different. Let's look at what other possible solutions are that could be even more robust than what we truly need. So there was really a lot of thought into the proper method while also mitigating obviously what had already happened and not having that occur further with this new installation style.
There are two peer reviews.
Yes, so multiple, so we brought in from the construction side a company to help do a peer review, and then the city also brought in SGH to help do a peer review, along with Terracon with RDA and their design team. So we really did have some of the best minds in New England looking at this from different paths, different avenues, and all those companies, because of the liquefaction, which is kind of a unique site condition, had people from all over the country that were truly giving input to help make sure that we had the best solution.
You know, that, what you just said solidifies my concern. The peer review of engineering teams gives me a warm and fuzzy that this is good. So, thank you.
Yeah, I want to put a finer point on that. Their engineers hired engineers. Our engineers hired engineers. That's a lot of
Engineers.
folks, yeah, that have looked at this. And I think the message that the city and the school department, the ultimate end users, have been giving here, the project building committee, is that we want to get this right. And a lot of care and thought has, and engineers have gone into making that the case, and that has been a strong message, from the school building committee as well, from some folks that have been around, that were around in that other project, and have lived with the results of it, and are still living with the results of it.
Yeah.
It goes to highlight this is a broader point now, but it goes to highlight the challenge of building in a city like Lynn. Where's the land going to be? It's going to be on challenging sites, and we knew that going into it. I think that there have had to have been made some adjustments here, but there's a lot of confidence, I think, at this point in where that's landed. Thank you.
Thank you.